Meredith March, welcome to the Post-Pandemic Pivot Summit. So great to have you with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, this is exciting. We have so many great people joining us, and you are among the celebrities in this summit. So exciting. So let me introduce yourself. I'm sure many people are familiar with you, but just in case it's just one or two that have never heard about you, let me just make a brief introduction. So you have a very well-established YouTube channel and presence, and you help side hustle content creators to build and grow profitable online business. Even if we have a busy family, a life, a full-time job. So obviously we want to dig deep into it. And then if that wasn't enough, you're also the founder of the Video Pursuit Society, where we could get direct mentorship by you to grow our channel. So excited to have you with us today. And why don't we start from the beginning? Tell us a little bit more about your story. How did you become this celebrity in YouTube where you help so many people?
Well, I don't consider myself to be a celebrity, but it all started like I never know how far back to go, but my background is in web design. I taught myself HTML and
Mm.
CSS while my husband was deployed. He was in the army. So I thought, I'm going to teach myself how to do this and I'm going to start my own business. And that's what I did. And then I ended up taking a full time job as an in house web designer and social media manager. And I live in a super small area, like very rural. And so to have a job like that where I live, it was kind of like a dream come true in a lot of ways because I could do like the nerdy creative things that I really liked doing and not have to relocate or have a long commute, someplace where those jobs would be more readily available. And so I worked at that company for about 3 years, but not far into my employment, I started being like, wait a minute, I have all of the skills to have my own business,
Mhm.
but I'm sitting at a desk in somebody else's office helping my employer build his business. And that sort of made me go, what do I have to do? Like, how could I have my own business? And of course, I was really into the internet in general, social media. And I thought, well, I guess I could become a blogger because that seemed like the thing people were doing. I was hearing stories, like, oh, I started a blog, I made money, I quit my job. And so I thought, I want that story. That sounds like a good story to have. So it took me a while to figure out what I was going to blog about. And then I got a GoPro camera, an action camera one day. My kids were really little, and I just thought, oh, we're just going to get this fun camera and record family videos and stuff. And we did that one day in the snow. They played in the snow. I made this little video. They thought it was really cool. And I thought, why aren't other people doing this? I think I need to help other people create family videos with whatever camera they have. And once I did the initial research of like, are there people creating content about this? Are there people interested in this topic? I could see there was definitely a gap in um, how in people that were interested in creating videos for fun for their family, but that weren't necessarily professional videographers or professional editors or having professional video cameras. And so that was like my sweet spot. And I started I started writing blog posts and creating videos on YouTube on how to use a GoPro camera and how to edit GoPro videos. And I really thought, I'm going to be a blogger. I'm going to make money blogging and then I'm going to quit my job. But what happened was my YouTube channel really started picking up viewers, which I didn't really realize at the time. Was I didn't realize YouTube was this thing that people grew their audiences on. I thought that it was just a good place to put my videos to embed into my blog posts. But so even though I was writing the blog posts, doing Instagram, doing Facebook, doing Twitter, doing all that stuff. It was YouTube where I started getting comments and people saying, "Hey, could you do a video on this? Could you answer this question?" And oh, there's a new camera coming out. Can you tell us about it? Are you going to buy it? And people started subscribing. And that's really where my audience started to grow. And I did all that while I was working full time. So I had 2 little kids. I would just in the evenings and on the weekends, I would work on my blog, work on my YouTube channel, edit my videos. And about a year and a half after I started the blog and the YouTube channel, my employer moved their headquarters to another state and I lost my job. So I didn't get to have I like to call it the entrepreneurial love story where you start a business, quit your job. I like to say they broke up with me first because I was definitely planning at some point in the distant future to leave my job, but they broke up with me first. So instead of going to updating my resume, I mean, my family, my mom was like, "Oh, you just go update your resume, go get another job." And I was like, I'm not going to do that. I started this thing. It was making a little bit of money, not like nowhere near my full-time job income, but it was like enough to know that if I just put my energy into that,
Mhm.
that I could make it grow. So slowly over time, it wasn't overnight, but I just put my energy into it and grew the blog, grew the YouTube channel, grew the online business. And I never did update my resume.
See, that is so interesting and so valuable lesson that you already shared with us, right? Because as you described, like so many people nowadays either lost their job through COVID or decided that they're just not going to go back for whatever reasons. Maybe they want to spend time with their families. Who knows?
Mhm.
But there's millions of people that are in that situation, and they're thinking, what, just like you said, in your case, you found your niche pretty quickly. Like you knew what you already knew what you were good at.
Mhm.
And a lot of people are discovering what they're good at and how they use those skills to create something, and build a business. And then you mentioned how you started your YouTube channel almost by accident, just like a holding place, and it became the center of
Mhm.
what your business is all about.
Right.
Uh, so I wonder if you could like tell us a little bit, like why? Well, I mean, maybe it is for you. Maybe YouTube is just for you. That is the center of the universe. But how could that work for the rest of us that may not be doing reviews about cameras or
Mhm.
video? Who knows? Maybe they're talking about gardening or I don't know, whatever topic it is that we want to build our business. Is YouTube really like the
Yeah.
platform for us?
Oh my gosh, YouTube is the platform for everybody. Because YouTube it's both a search engine and a place where people go to be entertained.
Mm.
And so it's if you took Google and television and put them together, you have YouTube. So when people need a video on how to do something like, if I just got a new phone, it's like, well, how do I do this? How do I change my password? How do I update my settings? Like people are searching for that.
Mhm.
And YouTube is the place where they can get somebody to actually show them. So you could go to Google and you could go to a blog post and blogging is still very much alive, right? You can create content that does not require videos at all, and people are still interested in that, and it still works. But for people that really want someone to show them, this is how you do it. This is how you edit a video. This is how you plan your garden, like whatever it is, to visually be able to see it and hear somebody walk you through something. YouTube is really valuable for that. And the algorithm is a lot of people like to hate on the different algorithms. The Facebook algorithm is always changing. The Instagram algorithm is always changing. The YouTube algorithm doesn't change a whole lot. It doesn't change as often because it really works. The way that it works really, really well. And so they don't have to constantly be changing it and then forcing content creators to change their strategy. The strategy is always the same: create really helpful, really useful content that answers the question people came for or delivers the information that people clicked on it for. So um, it's also really fast to have your content rank in the search results in YouTube. It's not like Google can sometimes take a couple of weeks. If you publish a brand new blog post and you've never published a blog post before, you publish it, it can take a few weeks before Google knows that you exist. Whereas on YouTube, it's instantaneous. It knows what your video is about. It knows what you're saying in your video because it's robots are transcribing it, and it can instantaneously rank you in the search results, which is how to really get started on YouTube, is by creating content that shows up as a search result. And then once you have some of that traffic and you have those viewers and you have your niche and you know what you want to create content about, now you have people's attention. And if they watched your videos because of a search result, then the next time they open up YouTube on the homepage, YouTube is what we want to have happen is YouTube says like, oh, Claudia's here. She's interested in gardening. Let's show her this new video from Meredith about gardening, because it knows you already watched that type of content. So there's a lot of different kind of things going on that make YouTube as powerful as it is. But it really starts with showing up as a search result and getting those views. And people are searching for everything all the time. Nobody reads a user manual. They just go to YouTube now. So it doesn't matter what your niche is, really. Anything can work as long as it's information that you know people are needing and searching for.
Well, even before, I mean, I will tell you that, I mean, I think I have shared this with you before, but, you know, I literally found your channel years ago because I was looking specifically, just as you described, how do you edit something? And you had like multiple videos about doing that. But this morning, before we connected, I went back to your channel just to see, you know, a variety of videos. And just as you're describing, because I have watched your videos in the past, in my feed, I get multiple videos from you that the videos that you made like a year ago, yet they still coming up. And I think that it's so interesting that you have created something a year ago and there it is in front of me, which is such a powerful platform. I mean, and like you say, many of us, you know, we start a business and our initial inclination is like, yes, well, I'm going to go to Facebook because, you know, it has such a robust platform. But or Instagram, of course, we're going to go to Instagram or TikTok or you name it. But the lifespan of that investment may not be compared to the example that you're giving us in your own work in YouTube of the length of life that a product could have in there.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, Facebook is its own, you know, beast. Instagram, I know, is like super popular. Of course, I like Instagram too, but that's not where people find me, right? I use it to like connect with people who've already found me because of YouTube or because of the blog. So, but it's not where I go to get visibility in front of other people, because like you said, once you create that content, like tomorrow, it's going to be gone. It's not going to be in the users' feeds. Whereas, like you said, with YouTube, you opened it up and you saw a video I created a year ago that YouTube knew for you specifically. We think Claudia would be interested in this. We think she would watch this video, because they want you to watch videos. They want you to open it up and watch all of the videos and never leave YouTube. So it's going to put in front of you, the user, it's trying to guess, it's trying to predict what you, the user, is likely to actually click on and watch.
Mhm.
Right. And so it could be, I mean, I have videos sometimes on the homepage that show up somebody created 3 years ago,
Mm.
and I'm like, wow. But YouTube knows this video has been really helpful for people like Claudia in the past. And we know that people are watching it and they're watching most of the video. They're not getting like bored and then leaving. And so they know that's a good video to put in front of you on your homepage.
Well, you definitely have us, right? So we know now, we believe that YouTube, it is the place to go. But one of the bigger barriers, to be honest with you, Meredith, that we all have as a initial business owner is like, how do we overcome the fear of, like, what do we say? How do we present ourselves so we don't look like, you know stiff or unable to communicate? And obviously you have a lot of experience in this, so we'll love to get some tips from you. How do we get this going?
Well, where do I start with that? I mean, I think ultimately it does come down to practice, right? And in order to practice, you have to actually do it. So to start with, I do have to say I was never an on-camera person. Like I never wanted to be on camera. I never thought I would be on camera. I didn't want to be like an actor, an actress, a news person, like none of that. I'm definitely a behind the camera type of person. It was just that I wanted a successful business more than I wanted to be behind the camera, or more than the fear of being in front of the camera, right?
Mhm.
And so it was kind of like, well, I'm just going to have to do it. Just going to suck it up and do it. And then once I did, it started to become easier. Like the fear was gone. It's still like we're working on being natural on camera is still like a constant sort of battle, I
Mhm.
guess. Because nobody's born knowing how to talk to a camera. Maybe these days, maybe the generation Z, the Zoomers, right? They
Mhm.
might know how to talk to a
Mhm.
camera once they get to that point. But for the rest of us, we had to
Mhm.
figure it out.
Yeah.
So I would say practice talking to yourself. I used to do this in the car on my way to work. I would be thinking about, okay, what's the video I'm going to create this week? Oh, how to edit a GoPro video. And so I would just kind of brainstorm out loud with myself, literally out loud talking to myself, what I was going to talk about in that video, because you can have it in your head and
Mhm.
you can let it come out your fingers to like type out a script or something, but you have to let your mouth and your brain make that connection and let the words come out of your mouth. Because I hear a lot of times like, well, I know what I'm going to say in my head, but then when I start talking, it's like,
Mhm.
I don't know what I'm talking about. And it's like the words literally just cannot come out of the mouth.
Yes.
So practicing it with yourself, I think is a really good place to start. I also recorded my first videos, and for a long time I did this. I would record standing up
Mm.
because in my mind, I thought, well, I want to be comfortable on camera, so I'll sit down and be like physically comfortable. But then when I watched those videos back, I didn't like them. Of course, they were my first videos too. So of course they were like, in my mind, they're horrible. And then I heard a tip about a podcaster who records all of his videos, all of his podcasts standing up, because he just feels like he has more energy that
Mm.
way. Like the energy comes through in his voice. And the more I thought about it, I thought, that actually makes a lot of sense, because if you're going to take the time to create a video and create this piece of content, it is as important and it matters as much as if you were going to stand up and make a speech, which is a whole other
Mhm.
level of fear.
Mhm.
Right?
Yes, 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 yes.
But the content you're sharing is as important as somebody who's going to make a speech. You would
Mhm.
never make a speech sitting down. If you have something important to say and you want people to listen, you stand up, right? And so it made sense that maybe standing up sort of helps my brain be like, okay, this is important. We're going to command a presence here. We have something important to say. We want people to listen. We're going to bring that like standing up energy. And that was really helpful for me, especially getting started when I really wasn't comfortable talking to the camera. I really didn't know what I was doing. It was kind of like flipping a switch that helped the energy kind of come through in my videos. I can make videos sitting down now because I kind of know how to turn that energy on. But standing up, I think and I never hear people give that as a tip. And it's one of my
Yes.
favorite tips for beginners. So that's definitely something to try. So practice, stand up, and also you can create videos that nobody sees. So you can create videos for yourself with nobody home. Nobody even needs to know that you're making videos. So there's no excuse. There's no reason to feel awkward because nobody's watching it. It's just you talking to a camera. And if it all goes bad, nobody even needs to know that you did that, right? But you can see the video back and you can be like, oh, okay, here are some things that I would change. And then you can re-record. So nobody needs to know that you're like doing this weird, awkward talking to a camera, starting a YouTube channel thing until you're ready for people to know that. So just play with it, practice. And I promise that it gets easier. And if I can do it, definitely anybody can do it.
I mean, clearly yes, I mean, you're a master at it now, but I have never heard that tip about like standing up, but immediately you do feel the energy running through your body and you feel more in control of whatever it is that you're doing. But that is a very, very powerful tip, especially for all of us that we are starting out. Meredith, you also have this phenomenal video pursuit society. And where people can get more mentorship, direct mentorship by you. So how do we learn more about that, and how do we also stay in touch with you as we take our first steps into building our YouTube channel?
Well, first, to stay in touch with me, you can follow me on Instagram or YouTube. No, but if you've watched me here, then we should connect on Instagram for sure. But you should also go to YouTube and subscribe to my channel, of course. The Video Pursuit Society is where side hustle content creators can hang out, get guidance, get feedback on what they're doing. Because what I found when I was doing content as a side hustler, is like my husband doesn't know anything about creating content. My mom has no idea what I'm doing, right? They're actually giving me ideas that actually aren't even really applicable because you know what I mean? They're trying to be helpful, but they're really not because they're not in the arena, right? They're not doing the thing. And so, I really wanted to create a space where people just get it. We all have different niches and we're all going at different speeds, but we all get the whole thing, finding time to create, learning how to edit the videos, trying to figure out how do I tell what's working on my channel, what's not working on my channel, what can I change, what can I improve. And so that's what the Video Pursuit Society is for. And anyone who wants more information about it can go to videopursuitsociety.com, and there's a wait list there. And we have a whole, I call it the Video Pursuit Success Track. So if you already have a channel, it tells you exactly, here's what you should be working on. Here's the analytics you should be looking at. Here's the next stage you want to get to. And if you don't have a channel at all yet, there's an entire course called the Spiderweb Strategy, which starts with showing up as a search result, like we talked about, that walks you through getting set up so that you have that momentum and you work through the stages of the success track to become a profitable content creator.
My God, Meredith. So you just put us on our track to start really seriously leveraging YouTube as our vehicle to create a presence and a brand for ourselves and generate clients and build a sustainable and profitable online business. we cannot thank you enough for your time today. From now on, I'm going to be standing on in every single video that I make. I will take that to heart. Thank you for that tip. But thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sure
Yeah.
you have impacted lots of people's life that what you have shared today.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's so exciting. Well, great to have you. Thank you.
You're welcome.